Momag.
Mein Meer am Mostviertel.
Well, my name's Jaz, I'm Jaz Coleman, and I'm singing Killing Joke, amongst other things. And the year is 2012. I had a sort of bad feeling about whether the recording was any good, so I didn't listen to the recording until the end of January, when I spoke to Big Paul and Youth, and they said this album's a great record. You should listen to it. And so I dared to listen to the record, and I haven't stopped playing it since, to be honest. It's exceeded my expectations, and I believe that the 2012 recording, it captures this sense of anticipation that everyone has, that there's going to be an enormous change on the planet. Of course, all the Mayan calendar and the indigenous cultures of the earth, they all refer to this time and this year specifically as a time of great cataclysm and upheaval. And so everyone has this sense of anticipation that something is going to change. Of course, we don't know exactly in what form it'll take, but the record captures this, I think, pretty well.
If you compare the 80s and 90s with now, the audience changed a lot. I mean,
there's a huge difference between when we started our career, which was 79 really, 78, 79, and the early 80s, to now. I mean, for example, back then everybody was in a band. You know, even the journalists were in bands. Everyone was in a band, and now that's not the case. And there was more of a sense of fraternity between alternative or punk musicians. There's none of this feeling now. There is the feeling of rebellion then that does not exist now. I mean, I can remember playing to 150,000 people in Trafalgar Square on an anti-nuclear demonstration, and now that wouldn't happen. They're building 6 new nuclear power stations in the United Kingdom. There's no rebellion left in people. The people are passive, like sheep. There's no anger left in them.
Is it harder to reach people with music?
I don't try to. I really don't try to. Killing Joke is just has always been a therapeutic medium for me to address my own anger. You know, when I was like 14, 15 and the rest of the guys, we were very angry people. Well, I think that you should always live every day like it's your last. I mean, you don't know how long you're ever going to live. Look, Paul Raven was the youngest amongst us, and I didn't see him passing so quickly. And in my career, I've seen so many people die. If you consider that 1 in 8 rock musicians die before they're 35, death is always with us. You just don't know how much longer you're going to have anyway on the planet. So the most important thing is to live fully every day and tell the people that you love them. That's the most important thing.
One last question. Would you do an unplugged concert? Like you said, science didn't help us that much.
It's very interesting you say that. We were all sitting in the dressing room last night discussing Killing Joke Unplugged. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is that when I finished this tour, one of the things I've been working on over the last 4 years is I went to Australia to find out who the greatest didgeridoo player was in Australia. And I discovered that's actually in the top 10 of players. One of the greatest virtuosos of this instrument is from Prague in Czech Republic. And so I tracked this guy, Andre, down to Prague. And over the last 4 years, I've been developing this instrument. It's a 40,000-year-old instrument, so that the didgeridoo can change key. And the intention of this was to prove to the Australian government that this is the classical instrument of the country. And of course, when they acknowledge this, then they have to teach it in the universities. Otherwise, we call them racists, right? Anyway, it was just an intellectual idea, and so the last 4 years we've been developing the didgeridoo. So it's like a trombone. You can slide it and move it like this. So you can put it with orchestra, or you can put it with a band, etc. And then we started experimenting with miking it up and everything. Well, about a month ago, I got funding from the Czech state to complete this, and I start the recording of this, and then taking this new instrument back to Australia to demonstrate it to the Australians. Our new revamped didgeridoo, which I call a dodecahedron, and it sounds absolutely unbelievable. It doesn't sound like a didgeridoo. It sounds different again. Sounds like a death machine. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a recording with this new instrument, and it will be the ultimate in unplugged or caveman rock, because it requires no electricity.
Good.
Yeah.
Momag. Mein Meer an Mostviertel.
Das neue Mostviertel-Magazin mit dem Mostviertel-Basar als Beilage. Auch auf momag.at und im Zeitschriftenhandel. Momag.